The evening meal was a new experience for him, simple but full of chatter, noise, and laughter. Ironman kept up an endless supply of outlandish stories, wild boasts, and questions in equal measure. He didn't appear to need an audience, happily answering his own questions or singing as he began a series of tasks which he never quite finished. It was left to his sister, Irene, to continue and finish what he'd started. She sat near the fire and simply held out her hands, and Ayamin would absently place half-cut vegetables in her palms before dashing off for something else. Despite Ayamin's chaos, a meal took shape, and they were soon sitting cross-legged on a woven circular mat. He noticed that its colours seemed random and haphazard, even if the weaving itself was skillful and precise. The simple hut was clean with decorations of complex knotted tapestries, again with unusual colours. At his awkward expressions of compliments, Irene casually said that she just liked the feel of the knotted patterns. He was feeling full and comfortable when Irene asked him to pass a bowl of small fruits. He held it up, but she made no move to take it from him. Silence. "You have to put it in my hands," she said with a small smile. Confused, he did so, and then realized with a shock that she was unable to see. He suddenly remembered how her gaze never quite met his own. His wide-eyed and open-mouthed expression brought forth a peal of laughter from Ayamin. "You didn't know?" The question was not unkindly asked. Rin Rin here has been blind from birth. I reckon it's her way of making sure that I had to look after her and for getting out of work. Ayamin immediately began recounting stories that portrayed him as a long-suffering and devoted brother, though they seemed chiefly an excuse to revisit old and familiar complaints. The affectionate nature of this litany softened the edges and spoke of his genuine care for his sister. Irene responded with counter-arguments of her own that further suggested that this was not the first time they had had this discussion. This casual banter eased the young man's embarrassment, and he suspected the siblings were used to doing so. The routine may have continued when a voice called from outside. "Irene, are you up? It's Merrin's time, and the family have asked for you." The change was abrupt. Ayamin jumped up and helped Irene to her feet. "I'll need my shawl, and could you make my tea for when I return?" This to Ayamin, who was already handing over the requested garment. To the young man, Irene reached for his arm. "Come with me. This will be a chance to meet others." Within moments, they were walking with others, walking with lanterns, along darkened paths towards a house. Irene made introductions as they walked and polite, but curious acknowledgments made in return. They entered a house made crowded with bodies. An elderly woman lay on a cot made comfortable with blankets as others stood or sat around her. The young man faintly recalled similar gatherings as this. Here, though, there was no sign of grief or sadness. Instead, a hushed and expectant air filled the space. Irene was led to a stool beside the old woman, who looked up at her with nervousness and excitement. "Relax, Merrin. Are you comfortable?" Irene asked. They held hands and made soft small talk in whispers. A hush lay over them all. From his place at the back of the room, the young man was free to look closely at Irene. Her hair, held back with a loose braid, had errant strands that curled at her temples. Candlelight caught and lined her brow and cheeks. The old lady lay with eyes closed, and her breathing slowed and stopped. Silence. Irene sat, her eyes closed, with her hands on the woman's chest. Silence. A wisp of pale vapor traced the faintest suggestion of a form. Silence. "Irene?" A whisper with faint echoes. "Irene, it's you? It's beautiful. No pain?" There was an exhalation of breath held by those within the room. A sigh of relief, of wonder. "Tell my family," I loved them. Irene's whisper carried, "They can hear you, they know." "Goodbye," the echoing whisper said. "I go." Silence. Then the room dissolved into murmurs, hugs, and embraces. People reached out to touch Irene's hair, shoulders, arms, whatever they could reach. They walked back, her arm in his. He noticed that she leaned more heavily on his arm, that her steps were slower, less sure. He had questions, many questions, but started with, "Are you often asked to do that?" She was quiet for a moment, but then, "Not often." I was very young when I realized that not everyone could tell when people passed. I remember people crying and being sad when we were visiting a sick friend. I remember asking why and being told that they had just left us. I said, "But they're still here. They're saying it's okay, that they weren't sick anymore, and that it will be good now." She was silent for a few beats. I got into a bit of trouble for that, but soon people started asking my parents to bring me whenever it was someone's time. Most people don't go straight away. They stay for a moment, like they're finding the way to go. Oh, they don't stay long, but some just want to say goodbye or say that they're not angry or in pain or sad. She paused again to find the words. It's as if whatever was bothering them when they were alive is no longer important to them, and they need to say that. I think it makes saying goodbye a little easier for us. He considered this and cautiously revealed, "I was never able to say goodbye to my parents." He was surprised at how much it hurt to say that, like exposing an unhealed wound. Ayamin was waiting for them, and after settling Irene, he laced the leather door tightly shut. Tea was pressed into her hand, and an uncharacteristically somber Ayamin asked, "So, how did it go?" His concern for her obvious in his voice. "Merin went well," she answered. She was ready. No surprises there. Ayamin sighed and made a quick gesture, a touch to his heart and lips. He fussed around Irene until she waved him off. She reached out a searching hand before finding the young man's. "I'd like to offer to reach out to your parents if you'd like. It's much easier to do when someone has just passed, but it can be done. It can help." Almost formally, like a ritual, she added, "I offer this freely." At Ayamin's puzzled query, Irene explained, and over his objections, she again expressed her desire to help. "Ayamin, it's what I can do. It's what I am," she repeated. It was clearly an old argument between them. Ayamin didn't answer. He just went to brew more tea. They sat face to face. Irene held his hands in hers, brushing his knuckles with her thumbs. "Close your eyes if you feel like it. It doesn't make any difference to me. Just be comfortable. I can't really explain how I do what I do. It's like trying to listen to a very small sound or someone calling from a distance. Then I kind of fix on it and bring it closer." He was acutely aware of how close his face was to hers. Everybody has their own smell. Ayamin smells like river water when he doesn't smell of sweaty feet. "Hey," Ayamin objected. "Shush, you smell of clean wood smoke and spice." She blushed and quickly went on. "It's just a matter of listening. There." She frowned in concentration, biting her lower lip. "So faint, so far away." Beads of sweat broke out upon her brow. Her face grew pale. Between them, vapor formed, twisting lazily. The muscles in her jaw clenched. So far. Two faces, shimmering in the vapor. She was gripping his hands so tightly they were hurting, the cords in her neck standing visible. From impossibly far away, voices. It worked. Safe. Beloved. With a groan, Irene collapsed as if dropping a weight too great to bear, her breath heaving and gasping. Never have I reached so far. She fainted. Both men lunged forward.